Check it out, Casper!
Hey everyone, and thanks for tuning in. Casper here, and this is Yooka-Laylee, or at least the first sort of publicly playable version of it. And this isn't the final game at all. This is, as you can see in the bottom left-hand corner, it's a pre-alpha, and it's kind of like a demo. It's not a demo, because the real game is going to actually have textures. This is just what they're calling a toy box. It's essentially a sandbox environment for you to sort of see the mechanics of the game and that sort of thing, really. And for those of you not familiar with this game at all, as you can clearly see, it's a 3D platformer, and it's going to have a sort of loose story. It's made by the same guys who made Banjo-Kazooie. You might know them as Rare. They're not Rare anymore. They're a company called Playtonic. And this was backed on Kickstarter by myself, which is how I've got access to the toy box. So if you didn't back this on Kickstarter, unfortunately, you're not going to get access to this toy box that you're viewing right now. But I think sometime next year, they're hoping to release it in the full game on PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and of course on the Wii U, the home of Rare in my opinion. But yeah, this is the toy box. I had a load of fun trying it out. I did actually use the Xbox controller on my computer. I guess it's kind of up to you, but these sort of games, I think, I don't know, I suppose it could work with a mouse and keyboard. There's some areas where you have to maneuver quite well. So a lot of games these days, your adventure games, they just require more sort of strategy than actual dexterity, I guess you could call it. If this toy box is anything to go by, it's definitely going to require some dexterity, and there's a few little jump things where I failed quite a few times trying to get it, and that's good. That's a sort of challenge element that you don't see so much in video games anymore, and that's the whole purpose of Yooka-Laylee, to bring back those collectathons. Whoa, collectathons. You've been seeing that I've been picking up these type of feathers all the time. I think they're called quillies or quills, it says at the start. Can't remember exactly what they're called, but there's going to be like 100 of those in every little level, and it's not just going to be one world. You're going to go through portals into levels and that sort of thing, just like you used to in the olden days. Think Spyro the Dragon, think Super Mario 64. Again, games that you just don't see so much anymore. And then at the end, once you collect them all, you get a little extra guy called a pagey. And these will tie in with the story in some way. I mean, when I said a loose story, there will be a very defined story, but the story is going to be there to encourage gameplay. It's not going to be like a story-based game. It's not going to be a point and click and play the game for the story. It's not a DRS there. The story will be there, but then you'll be in like a desert world, or a volcano world, or an underwater world, and that sort of thing, basically to show off all these cool physics mechanics that the engine's got. And if you've played Banjo-Kazooie, you've probably been recognizing some of the sort of style of this game, and it feels a hell of a lot like it. As I said, this is a pre-alpha, and there is a few little niggles in it. This isn't meant to be the final version. If anybody is watching this for its review qualities, then I will say that the negative points are when you're rolling and one of the characters is making a squeaking noise. That squeaking noise is way too regular, and you're going to be rolling everywhere, pretty much, because it's faster. And it's like... And that will probably get annoying eventually. And I also felt like almost everything was set up to be slightly too high to allow you to double jump. So you had to do this sort of hold ground, pound, and jump. So where he bounces off his tail. You get more height, that's cool. But you had to do that pretty much on the entire environment, which to me felt like it was slowing down the pace too much. Obviously, there's going to be some jumps where you need to do this, and I think that's good. There needs to be more challenging environments to negotiate. But when literally everything is requiring you to stop, slow down, jump, walk 2 inches, stop, slow down, jump, it takes the flow out a bit. So if everything was a little bit lower, or if the double jump was a little bit higher, so you could double jump around more of the environment so you weren't stopping all the time, that would be cool. And there's this one challenge where you've got to push to this ball, and it was quite good actually. I just felt really satisfied when I got it. You know, like I saw this challenge, I was like, I think I know what I got to do. And as I moved through this challenge, everything just became clearer and clearer, and I just felt this sort of satisfaction, like, I worked this out. I solved this puzzle. It wasn't a hard puzzle, but it was hard enough to make me have to think, and I feel happy about that. And that's another thing that these old-style games always used to try and do. There would be puzzles in there, and sometimes you wouldn't solve the puzzle, and you'd have to go away, and you'd come back another day. And it's that satisfaction that you'd get from solving these relatively simple, but sometimes it's just a little niggle there that you can't quite sort out. And solving those, and then that sort of accomplishment that you get from it. And this ball, I felt it was a good, like, example of what the physics engine can do. but I felt like it moved a little bit too, like, realistically. And I think, depending on how they implement this ball in the future, it could get too annoying because it's too fluid, it's too realistic. You don't want it to be perfectly realistic, you don't want it to be like a real-life physics, but you do want to have a little bit of freedom so it's not just pushing it on rails. So somewhere in between. Other than that, the only tiny niggle I would have is that I found it quite hard when I'm hovering over platforms to know perfectly where I am. Unfortunately, only once or twice I think I actually ended up falling off because of this. But basically what you want, or something similar, is for a shadow to appear on the platform so you can clearly see when you're above it. And as I said, this only once or twice this caused me any issues, and I am being picky here. This is a pre-alpha, and I'm forcing myself to find some negatives just so I gotta sort of point them out, because they were there. But overall, I thought this is really fun, and it's really hyped me up for the full release. So I've got plenty more gameplay of this. I could do a full playthrough of all 100 quills in this, and maybe the secret at the end if you really want to see it. So guys, please let me know if you do want to see that. And if you've heard of this before, let me know. But more importantly, if you've never heard of this game before and now you're excited for it, because now that you've seen it, I'm not going to be the only person making videos on it. Please let me know, because I'd love to know about the new reach that this game is getting. So, thanks everybody for watching, and I'll see you for whatever it is next.